with you in this live. In this live, I want to talk about one of the questions of you guys. You asked me if, as a PhD student, you need to work, and that's a very great question. And if you want to work, even if you don't have to, is it possible for you as a PhD student in Swiss universities to have some side job? This is Tarane, and I could apply for my PhD position at ETH more than 8 years ago, and I graduated almost 2 years ago, and then started working in this country. That's why I would like to share my experiences, and whatever I share with you is not only based on my own personal experience, but also hearing from colleagues, friends, or whoever I saw myself the journey that they were going through related to PhD life. But still, there could be the things that could be more accurate, or maybe the things that are not updated or all in my knowledge currently, and you need to go and do your research yourself for more updated and most accurate information. So take this information as some insight or some ideas so that you can start from the experience of me and those that I'm sharing with you to the best of my knowledge. So let's go to this question. As a PhD student, do you need to have another job? Well, no, you don't have to have, because mostly in all the PhD positions in Switzerland, you will receive a salary. And this salary per month is pretty something that you can have a pretty decent life as a PhD student throughout your PhD life, as long as you have the funding from your project and supervisor. So, this salary, of course, this decent life or a good life depends on your standards, how you want to spend that money. But in fact, it's very well known that people even say that the salary for PhD candidate in Switzerland is much better than other countries, much better or at least better than other countries. So that's why you don't have to work. Even from my own experience, me and my husband, we both came together to this country and we started with one income from my side. So this was one PhD candidate salary that we both were living by, and it was okay, right? So I want to say that even if you are applying for student life in Zurich, which is maybe known to be more costly than the other cities, so it's still possible. That's why I want to give you this good news. But still, it depends how many family members you have and how you want to manage your own personal costs. But the next part of the question is that if you can or you are allowed to have another job while you are studying as a PhD candidate. In fact, there is something very interesting that I faced. So, me myself, as the PhD candidate at ETH, I had 100% contract. So it was 100%, and obviously, I couldn't be occupied with anything else, as it was like a fully academic job. However, I saw that there are PhD students in the other cities, in the other universities, they have the contract which is not 100%. So let's say, for example, 70%. At the end of the day, more or less, both of them are earning the same amount if they are from like the same field of study, because depending on your field of study, engineering, sciences, etc., it could be different, but more or less as a general, these will become turn out to be somehow similar in the same range. But since that contract is not 100%, so there could be possibility to look for another occupation which can not influence your PhD candidate, but at the same time, something. For example, in that university, I remember that this person, in fact, applied for some assisting courses or some other responsibilities in the department. So, for example, from 70%, the contract went to 85%, and he could earn more. And these are the things that you can think about. Even if you want to go out of university occupation for the rest of the capacity you have, you can search and see if it is possible or not. For these cases, I don't remember something on top of my mind to share with you, but it's really great to know that even in the university, since you have the capacity and if you want to take some responsibility, you will get paid even for that additional responsibility if it is not in your contract. So it's pretty cool and very good to know, because sometimes people do not know and they cannot make the most out of it. That was very great question, and I absolutely appreciate you for sharing your questions in the comments, because I read them, and if I know something about that, I come here and share it with you. I'm looking forward to see what's the next question from you guys, and I want to really get to know you. Share your journey with me. What is your ambitious? What is your dream? What is the plan you have for your life? And then we can see how you are going through it, and also if I can add any value from my experience, I will definitely share it with you. Can't wait to see you in another live and video. Bye.